the will of God. We are now live on YouTube.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
All right.
We're officially ready to begin Shabbat. You ready, Rabbi Nickerson?
I am ready, Cantor Peicott.
So if you have your family gathered with you, I invite you to light your Shabbat candles with us as we bring the light of Shabbat. Right now can seem like not such a bright time, but with the beauty of Shabbat is we can bring that light back into our homes and into our lives. Yes, Joey.
Wait 1 second. It says, let's just, before you even light it, according to the words of Don Levy, we'll just sit and reflect.
I'm sitting and reflecting.
Rebecca's sitting and reflecting. Let's reflect for a minute on the week. I mean, right? Rebecca, you want to share something about your week before we light candles? No. Well, I think we're going to move into candles now. Really to bring in the light and the warmth of Shabbat. Joey is excited about that.
Very excited.
Yes.
Joey's going to make his exit now.
Goodbye, Joey.
Goodbye, Joey.
Lasted. Yeah. All right. So now that we are streaming live, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And my family just wants to say Shabbat Shalom before they go their separate ways. At least some of them. Peekaboo.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Peekaboo. Peekaboo. So we have to kick off Shabbat with, of course, lighting the candles. And if you are, as Cantor Peicott said, maybe before we were actually live, if you have people near you and your family or friends or virtually, if you are with us or with members of your family virtually, now is the time to get them close and to think about the warmth and the light of those Shabbat candles.
Cool.
We're going to bring in the light 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. So now a question for all of you tuning in. I want you to look to the people around you and I want you to ask them, what is it that brought light into your life this week? So we'll take a moment to do that. I can tell you one thing that brought light into my week is the fact that I can still stay connected to all of my clergy and all of the staff at Wilshire Boulevard Temple, and that I've been able to FaceTime with congregants. I was able to do a virtual meetup with some of my youth choir members. And so I'm just really grateful for the beauty of technology, that in this time when we can't all be together, that we still are all connected together as one. And with that, we want to continue welcoming in Shabbat with the words of L'chadodi. We welcome in Shabbat like a bride. We say,
do
come
Kiddish?
to us. Are we going to do Kiddush first? Great.
Let's do Kiddush and Motzi. Why not? We'll just put it all together. Maybe people are sitting at their Shabbat tables right now watching as they eat their dinner. Maybe. So might as well do it right now. Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Join with me. Kivanu bacharta, viltanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava u'ratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim, to life, truly to life this week, for sure. And finally, the blessing over challah or bread, whatever it may be,
bread.
or whole wheat bread, whatever you have in your home at this time, because maybe you couldn't get a challah for the Shabbat. Maybe you baked a challah at home and the smell of that challah is still wafting through your home right now. Or maybe you can at least close your eyes and imagine the most delicious, warm, home-baked challah that you could imagine eating. And we should all be hopeful and hoping that one day we can all be gathered back together in one place to eat that intertwined bread of the challah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Delicious. We're going to continue welcoming in Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi. We welcome in Shabbat like a bride into our homes. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekadela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekadela, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekadela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekadela. Morgen tachon beni burechad, Ishmianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Hashem u'tiferet v'nitzi la 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 lecha dodi, tikrat tikrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, tikrat tikrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekabela. Tikrat Shabbat lechu b'nercha, yihi mekor haberacha, v'rosh tikedem lesucha, t'na'aseh b'machshavat tefila la 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 lecha dodi, tikrat tikrat kala, penei penei Shabbat tikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, tikrat tikrat kala, penei penei Shabbat tikabela. Those of you at home, we're going to rise as we greet our Sabbath bride. I'm going to turn towards my back door. Boi b'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, la 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 lecha dodi, tikrat tikrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekabela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat lekabela. Penei penei Shabbat lekabela.
Usually at this Shabbat in the month, we are celebrating people. This is our celebration Shabbat. If we were all gathered together, this would be the Shabbat where we gather the children up on the bima for them to receive a nice Hershey's bar and for us to sing happy birthday. And I know that there are many people who are celebrating their birthday this month and who haven't been able to have a party or have been able to see their friends virtually, but maybe weren't able to have the experience that they really wanted. But that doesn't mean that your birthday is not important, and it doesn't mean we shouldn't be celebrating it. So we want to take the moment with whomever you are with right now, and you have a birthday in March, I want those people who are with you to surround you as we sing happy birthday and wish you such a year of health, of happiness. This is definitely going to be a year of new things in your life. And we don't even know the mysteries of the beauty of the world that are going to be coming our way. And I want you to focus this birthday on new beginnings. Every birthday is an opportunity to see this as a new beginning, to start anew, to think about all the opportunities that you can have in your life. Don't let all of the things that are happening around us get you down to the point that you shouldn't celebrate the fact that you are here. That is the most incredible gift you could receive on your birthday, is to celebrate your birthday. So let's join together in Shehechianu to mark this moment. And I hope if you are with people around you that they put their arms around you and get close to you. And let's sing Shehechianu to mark this moment, and then we'll sing Siman Tov to you as well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'hidyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'hidyanu lazman hazeh. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecha Yisrael. David melech Yisrael. Ay Kayam, David Melech Yisrael, Ay Kayam. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday. Mazel Tov. In a minute, we are going to recite Barahu. And Barahu is all about preparing and being prepared. Everything that we just did was just a warm-up. It was just to prepare us for the heart of the service, and that gets kicked off with Barahu. And Barahu, we usually stand up, we face east. Right behind me, right there. That is a picture of the Western Wall back in the 1920s when men and women would stand together. That's a picture of Jerusalem around the same time from up above, right? We are facing the place that has sustained the Jewish people for thousands of years, but we're also standing up to say we are prepared to enter into this next phase, and we may not know what's going to come with it, but we know that when we stand up and we stand proud, that we can walk into the unknown and the mystery of what's to come, proud and strong and together as a community. So we join together in Barahu. If you want to, stand on up.
Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. nine, 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 nine. Barahu et Adonai, Amivorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Va'ed. So what would come next in our service normally is the prayer of Ahavat Olam, which speaks of all of the love that God has for the Jewish people and for all of humanity. And I think that with what's going on in the world right now, that what's most important, of course, God's love is wonderful, but what's most important is the love that we show to one another. Even though we seem to be in a dark time, you can look all around and you can just see the helpers. You can see the people reaching out to their neighbors from a distance, but reaching out and making a phone call or a FaceTime call or offering to an elderly person if they can go shopping for them because they don't want them to leave their house. And so the more love that we can gather during this time, even though there are so many limitations that are put on us right now, where we can go, who we can talk to, and who knows how long that will last. But the one limitation, as my dear friend, Rabbi Nicole Guzik said, the one limitation that we don't have is how much love we put out into the world. And so these are the words, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, try it at home. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, a world of kindness that we will build through the acts of love that we put out. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai. 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 I will build this world from love. Yalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai. And you must build this world from love. Yalalai, Yalalai, Yalalai. And if we build it from love, yalalai, 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 then God will build it from love, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai.
I want everyone to just take a deep breath. I want you to breathe in for 4 seconds. Now let it out for 7 seconds. Let's take one more deep breath in and let it back out. I don't know about you, but I realized this afternoon how much stress I was holding. You know, sometimes when your shoulders just get so tense and you don't even realize it until they've been tense for a long time. And once you realize it, you think, how am I even going to make these less tense. But you know, the most incredible miracle of this idea of breath, which is the same idea of ruach, of spirit, is the thing that can help us to calm down and lessen some of that stress. And ruach is about spirit, right? And in the hardest times in our people's history, and in the hardest times of our own lives, if we can learn the power of our own breath, to listen inside us to our own potential, to our own spirit, if we can do that, we can get through so much. We are so powerful. And Shema is about listening to yourself, listening to your breath, listening to the spirit that you have that you can bring to the world. So I want you to focus on that breath and that spirit as we recite Shema together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
This next prayer, Veahavta, is all about love, just like Cantor Peicott was teaching us with Olam Chesed Yibaneh, that we build the world with love. Even when we are at home and we're going to be home for some weeks, how can we bring and show our love to our family and to the people in our neighborhood and the people in the city and around the country and around the world? There are still so many ways we can do that, even if we can't go walking around everywhere we want to walk around. So Veahavta, as we recite Veahavta tonight, I want you to think about in this next week, what's one or two things that are different from every other week where you can show your love? What's one new way that you can show your love in this coming week? And I want you to think about that as we recite Veahavta tonight.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha vedivarta bam veshivtecha bevetecha ublechtecha vaderech ubshochbecha ubekumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beinenecha uchtabtam Al mezuzot betecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Cantor Lisa, before you go into this next one, can you tell us what's your feeling of how we find freedom right now, right? Freedom, what's freedom look like when you can't necessarily leave your house for a while? Any insights from your perspective as a lead into Micha Mocha?
Sure. Despite all of the limitations that have been put, I think, on all of us, I feel like I've also had an immense amount of freedom. I have the ability to go for a walk with my family in the middle of the day. I have the ability to meet neighbors that I never would have ever spoken to because I'd be in the rush from when I leave work in the mornings, when I leave home, to getting home at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and never having a moment to stop and say, hey, how are you? And even though we can't physically touch one another and we can't, be in close proximity, just the freedom to express to strangers that I never thought that I would have. And so even though we've had so many of these limitations put on us, I feel that a part of me has been freed in a way that has never been that way before.
Amen. Micha mocha.
On Shabbat, we're waiting for who's gonna go.
Rochambeau.
On Shabbat, we have two candles. We have Shamor and we have Vezachor. And this next prayer is all about guarding and keeping the sanctity of Shabbat. Even though our lives are so insane and I can't even believe what's going on in the world, the one thing we can always come back to week after week, no matter what's going on in our life, is the sanctity of Shabbat, that we guard and we protect this time with our families, that really all of this week has been one giant extended Shabbat. And so we join together in Mishaberach. So if you're out there in TV land, and you're a Bowerman kid or religious school kid or ECC, you guys know the dance moves. Oh, we got some guests. I love it. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריץ עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריץ עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריץ עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריץ עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריץ עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות המריץ עולם. Excellent dance moves, Nickerson family.
I know, yeah. Right. We prepared for this Shabbat. This next set of prayers is the Amidah. It's usually the standing prayer. So you can stand or sit. I don't really care when it really comes down to it, but what I do care about, you can sit there. Thank you. The real purpose though of the Amidah prayer is that you stand up because what are we standing up for? I want you to really think about, what are you standing up for? Are you standing up for your own freedom? Are you standing up to support your family? How are you going to, in this next week?
I'm standing up.
Oh, you're standing up? Now you're standing up. Good. How in this next week are you going to also find the time for just some self-care, right? You have to stand up for yourself too. So the Amidah tonight, Cantor Lisa will just lead us in the beginning, this idea of opening up our hearts, opening up our lips so our hearts can pray. And then we're going to just take 60 seconds or so for everyone to just have their own silent prayer and for you to have whatever kind of prayer moment you need for 60 seconds.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 sai tai tita. Na 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 ufi agi. Ufi agi tegila techa. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 sai tai kita. Na 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 ufi agi. Ufi agi tegila techa.
We're going to take a moment for Mishaberach. Hopefully in future weeks, we'll be able to get the Facebook Live function to work, because one of the most important things about being a part of a community, even if we can't be together physically, is to be able to share together in an experience. I had the opportunity this morning to do something for the preschool, and I walked around my neighborhood and I was on Facebook Live, and some of the students who were watching were able to say, "Hi, Rabbi Joel," and I was able to call out their name, and there's something really beautiful about that. So even though right now we don't have the opportunity to share those names of the people who are in need of healing out loud with everyone.
Houdini sharing her names.
Houdini is sharing names. Okay. We do want to take another deep breath, and we do want to take, it's all right. It happens. There are a lot of people out there who are in need of healing. We, of course, are thinking about the thousands upon thousands of people in the country and around the world who are infected with coronavirus, and the families of those people. And we are sending strength and love and support to all of them, and all the other people whom you're thinking of as well. And even though we can't hear you, I just want you to take a moment wherever you are to share the names of those people whom you're thinking of out loud. There is something powerful about saying those names out loud. So just take a moment right now to share those names, or the names, or at least to send your prayers to those who are in need of healing around the world as we join together in Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Vekod habracha le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Just want to say a couple of words about this week's Torah portion. It's actually a double Torah portion, and it's the last two Torah portions in the book of Exodus. It's pretty incredible that the book of Exodus is coming to an end. And in the final chapters of the book of Exodus, the first thing is God and Moses remind the Jewish people about the importance of Shabbat. But this is not the first time that God and Moses are telling people about Shabbat. So why is the Torah portion starting with that? Because right after we hear the reminder for Shabbat, then we get all the rules to build the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle, the sanctuary that went with the Israelites as they wandered through the desert. And so the rabbis ask, what's the purpose of telling us about Shabbat and then telling us about this sanctuary, a physical place? And the rabbis remind us that Shabbat reminds us that there is holiness in time, in the time that we spend, not always in places. You don't have to be at the synagogue, just so you know, to have a holy moment. You don't have to be with the Torah to have a holy moment. Shabbat is the reminder at the beginning of this Torah portion that right now, when we are at home and we have time in a new way, in a way that we haven't had time before, what are we going to do with that time? How are you going to make this time holy for yourself, for your family, for the people you love, the people you're living with, and the people you care about who you're not living with? The holiness in time is so key right now. But it's followed by this holiness in a physical space, the building of the tabernacle where God was supposed to dwell with us as we wandered through the desert. And it was the precursor, it was the start to what became the temple in Jerusalem. Because there is something very powerful about physical places. And the most powerful place, the sanctuary of all sanctuaries in our lives, is our home. Whether you live by yourself, whether you live with a loved one or you have children, whether they're small or medium or grown, your home is the most important sanctuary that exists in the world. What are you going to do, given the circumstances in which we are living as a country and as a world right now, to make your home the most holy sanctuary it can be? It's going to be a lot of work. There are no guidelines for this. The Mishkan, when it's being built, God tells us exactly the dimensions that we need to build this beautiful sanctuary. We are not being given the tools the way that the Mishkan was given to God, to Moses. So you have to build those tools. You have to build those tools and build that sanctuary based on your love, based on your own experiences in the world, and based on what you want to create. This is a time of possibility. This is a time to be hopeful. So I want you to think and work very, very hard to create a holiness in time, but also create holiness in the sanctuary in which you dwell right now in your home. Work harder at that than you have ever worked before, because soon, at some point, we are not going to be locked into our homes this way. But if we can create the tools now to make our home the sanctuary we've always wanted it to be, do you realize how incredible that's going to be for the rest of our lives? So that is what I'm taking away from this week's Torah portion, and I hope you can live by that as well. Shabbat Shalom. We are now going to move into the mourner's Kaddish. And then after the mourner's Kaddish and after we read the names of people from our community, we're just going to end with a prayer for peace, because we all know we need peace individually and collectively. So I hope you will stick around as we read the names from our Kaddish list, and then we'll join together in a prayer for peace for the whole world. This Shabbat, We're especially remembering Sherry Helfont Malone, Leslie Leventhal, Charlotte Modell, Vera Solomons, Jacqueline Rose Schiff, Larry Schwimmer, Joe Stabler, Natalie Stein, Sandra Stein, Janet Holtenser, Richard Barish, Vernon Bell, Ellis Berkowitz, Ida Bernfeld, Vera Barron, Harold Brincrant, Sam Bluestone, Julius Brody, J. Stevie Brody, Paul Cohen, Rose Cohn, Helen Coleman, Charlotte Davidson, Mitchell Dresser, Joseph Edwards, Harriet Ellis, Bess Epstein, Ray Fenton, Alan Friedman, John Gertis, Lillian Ginsberg, Philip Ginsberg, George Goldstein, Henry Harar, Sharon Hayden, Richard Horowitz, Rose Jaffe, Sandy Jarkow, Moran Kaplan, Lee Kymack, Harry Kirchheimer, Anna Klein, Samuel Klein, Daniel Krasnow, Gary Kress, Ed Landa, Gerald Laxer, Beula Levine, Faye Levitt, Sol Lieber, Larry Lindman, Samuel Lauderman, Timothy Magnan, Neil Markman, Gail Marison, Joseph Moses Miller, Saul Newman, Bertha Nugent, Leonard Perlman, Harry Perlman, Myrtle Fazler, Billy Rifkin, Marvin Rifkin, Florence Rose, Patty Roth, Fanny Rubenstein, Riva Sandler, Ruth Schwartz, Harry Shane, Anayat Shanasa, Marion Smook, Everest Stoller, Greta Solomon, Rosia Speed, Susan Srayer, Saeed Tabibi, Arthur Tucker, Norman Turtle, June Tyre, Leah Vollner, Roland Wallen, and Rose Weisstein. Of course, we also think about those in your own life, those whom you are remembering today. And so please share those names out loud as you're thinking of them. And we join together, whether you can stand or not, so we join together in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal
Vid Kadash Shema Rabbi.
Ve'alma divrach te ve'amlich malchute v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevrach Leolam Olmei Almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei d'Kudisha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
We're going to end with a prayer for peace, the words of Oseh Shalom. I want you to pull your loved ones near to you as we pray for peace in this world. Oseh Shalom, B'Roma. Oseh Shalom, B'Roma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Alleluia. 1, 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Roma. Oh, say shalom. Roma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Alleluia. 1, 2, 3, go. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. May you find
Shabbat
peace
Shalom.
and love the Shabbat. Feel free to join us tomorrow morning for Shabbat services. Tonight for adults at 9 p.m. You can join Cantor Lisa and myself for a Shabbat social on Zoom, just a chance to hang out and talk as adults and just have that space together as a community. You can join us tomorrow morning. Rabbi Leader and Cantor Gurney will be leading Shabbat morning services at 10 a.m. online. And then tomorrow night at 7:30, Cantor Lisa is going to be offering a live Havdalah for everyone. So you can enjoy the transition from Shabbat to the rest of the week. Again, like I said, you can find all this information, so many more opportunities that we're providing for you at your home for all ages. You can find it at our website, /WBT at home. That will be the resource guide for you for the coming weeks. Every week, we're going to have a calendar there. We're going to have resources from past teachings and giving you a taste of what's to come. You can also like our Facebook page, Wilshire Boulevard Temple on Facebook, so that you can see and get updated about all the things that are going to be happening. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for bearing with us. And thank you all the best remotely, virtually, but all together as one community. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.